Hi learners, you're highly welcome to English with Teacher Dixon. Once again, I want to talk about stress pattern in English language and particularly word stress. And remember what I said previously that one of the major yardsticks of placing stress in words is the part of speech it belongs. For instance, when you have a noun, you have a different placement of stress compared to when you have a verb. Another point I would like to take you into today is considering the suffix in a particular word. What is the suffix in that particular word? But first, I would like you to note that suffix refers to the last syllable or a morpheme that is attached at the end of a particular word. That is what suffix is. So when you have a particular suffix, that suffix should suggest to you the kind of stress pattern you're going to have, whether to place the stress on the first syllable, second syllable, third syllable, penultimate syllable, or the last syllable. So it is very important that you look into this aspect squarely. So that's what I want to consider in this lesson. So I'd like you to pay apt attention to the rule we have today. This has to do with placing stress on the penultimate syllable. All right, so now what do we mean by the word penultimate? Penultimate means second to the last. So if we say penultimate syllable, it means the syllable that is second to the last syllable. All right, so you count from the end. The second to the last is the penultimate syllable. So where in words can we place the prominence in pronunciation on the second to the last syllable, where we have certain suffixes? So through these suffixes, you should be able to know the right stress pattern of each of these words. So let's begin from those words with the suffix IC. Having this word, that geographic, the very last syllable there is thick. So this is where we have the suffix because the suffix has to do with the last syllable. All right, so when you have words that end with IC or ICE, it means that you're going to place the stress on the second to the last syllable. In other words, this penultimate syllable. All right, so we have a list of words here under IC or ICS suffixes, ranging from economic. So the stress is on nomic. Then we have also phonetic. Phonetic. Ne is where we have the stress. Politics. Li. Academic. De. Scientific. T. Electric. Lek. Mechanic. Car. Linguistic. Whiz. So you discover here that each of these words ends in either IC or ICS. Hence, the stress is placed on the second to the last syllable. That is what we mean by penultimate syllable. So it is not only where we have IC at the end, we have other suffixes that can carry the stress on the second syllable. So let's look at the next one. The next one we have here, which is very pivotal. Note this. It applies to all the words in this particular formation. Where you have ION suffix, words with ION suffix, the stress will occur on the penultimate syllable. So we're going to have the prominence or the emphasis laid on the second to the last syllable. It can be TION, SION, or SSION, notwithstanding how the suffix is written. Examples are given here ranging from information. In information, the stress is on may. That is why that particular syllable is louder than every other syllable in this word. Information, addiction, tick, explosion, flow, decision, see, transmission, miss, oppression, press, erosion, row, accommodation, day. So you have the stress on the second to the last syllable of each of these words. So do well to take note that these are words ending in ION. So because of that fact, we have the stress on the second to the last syllable. Now, in other words, the penultimate syllable. Let's also look at words with IAN suffix. The previous was ION. This one is IAN. So it can be TIAN, it can be CIAN. So wherever we have this kind of arrangement, the stress will be on the second to the last syllable, as in politician. T, that's where we have the loudness. Electrician. Tree, musician. C, librarian. Pray, Christian. Physician, magician, guardian, comedian. So in each of these words, we have the stress on the second to the last syllable. In other words, the penultimate syllable. So do well to take note of where you have to place your stress on the penultimate syllable. Our concentration now is on word stress. If you have words with two syllables, with four syllables, where do you place the stress? And what are the yardsticks for placing stress? Previously, I talked about considering the part of speech that if you have some words, two syllabic words as verbs and as nouns, there are different ways you can place the stress pattern. Now we've moved from the word class level to considering the kind of suffix we have in a particular word. So today we are just concentrating on the IC suffix, TION suffix, or let me call it ION suffix and IAN suffix. Do well to know this and apply this to as many words as possible. Thank you for watching this video. I remain your very own Teacher Dixon. At this juncture, I'd like you to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and also share it so that it can reach others who are interested in lessons like this.